What is up, everybody? So today is September 1st, and the Panthers are coming through with some more surprising news. Today they released wide receiver David Moore from the team. This coming the day after David Moore made the final 53-man roster. With that being said, the writing was on the wall that maybe some things were still going to change, and here we have our first change. So this is, like I said, a surprising move. A lot of people, including myself, a lot of Panthers fans thought David Moore was a guy who's going to be able to come in this year in Joe Brady's offense and contribute. I think with a few, things that happened here in training camp and in the preseason, obviously it didn't work out for him. But I think it's not really anything he did wrong because I felt like he had done pretty well so far. I think it was a lot more to do with younger guys really stepping up. Guys like Terrace Marshall, who showed that he's going to be a great player for the Panthers. But especially Shi Smith. I think when he comes back from his injury, they're saying it's going to be 2 to 3 weeks before he's back on the field. So once he gets back, I think that wide receiver 4 spot is going to be his. This is the spot that David Moore was, more or less projected to have on the Panthers depth chart. So along with Shi Smith, a bit of a surprise here is that the Panthers kept Brandon Zylstra on the roster over David Moore. I think from a pure wide receiver perspective, I would personally keep David Moore over Zylstra. I would keep David Moore over a guy like Trenton Cannon, the running back / wide receiver / special teamer who they kept on the roster. So, but I think Zylstra and Cannon both kind of offer something different that David Moore doesn't really offer. He's more of a receiver, kind of a punt returner, but not really. We saw that a little bit in the preseason. He could go back there and field the punts, but he's not exactly an electric guy returning them. He's a good downfield threat. The Panthers might miss that, but they probably feel like between Robbie Anderson, Terrace Marshall, Shi Smith, and DJ Moore, they have enough downfield receivers if they need them. So with this move coming across the table first, the Panthers made a corresponding move. They claimed guard Michael Jordan, great name obviously for a Charlotte athlete. Guard from Ohio State, believe, 4th round draft pick. Started 19 games in Cincinnati over the last 2 seasons. So this is a guy who has some starting experience. Obviously, the Panthers' offensive line is probably the weakest spot on the team, so they need any help they can get, and any guy with some starting experience is probably worth at least bringing in and taking a look at. Lastly, practice squad. Yeah. So yesterday I made a video going over the 53-man roster, talked about some guys who we thought might be brought back on the practice squad, and a lot of those guys seem to be on this list. Interestingly, the Panthers brought back Rashaan Melvin, which is probably a good move because they're pretty thin at corner right now. He's an experienced corner, so that's good. Some other guys who were on here, Rodney Smith and Spencer Brown are 2 running backs who I thought might have a chance to make the final 53-man roster. They didn't make it, but the Panthers are going to keep them around the practice squad. Then you have guys like Keith Kirkwood and Omar Bayless making the practice squad. Again, not surprising. These are 2 players who are, fringe roster guys. Couldn't quite get there. CJ Saunders, he's the I believe he wore number 15 in the preseason. He's been the guy who's been feeling a lot of punts back there for the Panthers. I'm not a huge fan of him, but, keep him around. Why not? I guess the coaching staff seems to really like him. Now, here's a couple guys I do really like, Jalen, Julius, and Kenny Robinson. I knew Julius, wasn't going to make that 53-man roster. The Panthers were just had too many good young corners. He just wasn't going to make the cut. And then Kenny Robinson, another position the Panthers are pretty deep at, is safety. He's a good safety. I like him a lot. I went over this in the last video, so I won't, keep rambling on about him all day. But Kenny Robinson's a guy I like, so I'm glad to see that they brought him back on the practice squad. So overall, this is about what you expected. If you went through the names of the guys who got cut, this is probably a lot of the names you'd pick out as guys that the Panthers would bring back. So that's good. The only other name that I expected to see on here, and I probably would have seen on here if he didn't get picked up, was Will Grier. So Will Grier obviously was a late third-round pick for the Panthers 2 years ago. Obviously, it didn't work out. He got beat out for P.J. Walker for that backup spot. He couldn't find his way onto the roster as the number 3 QB like he did last year. So, a tough break for Will Grier, I guess, but it worked out for him. He ended up getting picked up by the Cowboys. Obviously, they're a QB needy team right now. With Dak Prescott, you never know what's going to go on with him. He's got a little bit of an injury history here in the past year. And then behind that, they had guys like Garrett Gilbert, actually former Panther, and Danucci, I think is his name. So a little bit of inconsistency there. So I think they want to bring in a guy who, has some upside, and we'll see what he can do. Good luck to Will Grier. Hopefully it works out for him. Obviously, here as Panthers fans, we never really saw it from Will Grier. He has a nice, flashy college tape at West Virginia, throwing a lot of long bomb touchdown passes. We never really saw any of that. It never came to fruition for him in the NFL. So we'll see what he can do in a new setting. Obviously, Dallas is a good offense. They throw those vertical passes, which, if there is a strength to his game, it's probably that downfield passing. So obviously they have weapons and, CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup. So that could be a great situation for him. We'll see. Obviously, we hope Dak Prescott can stay healthy, but if he can't, maybe Will Grier can get on the field and make some things happen. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, and that's about it. I almost wonder if the Cowboys did say they were going to look at, they said they were going to do their due diligence, I think was the way they worded it, on Cam Newton. So who knows, maybe Will Grier and Cam Newton will have a bit of a reunion in Dallas. We'll see what happens. The Cam Newton situation, who knows? I threw out some teams the other day: Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Houston, Washington. Maybe he'll go play with Ron Rivera again in Washington. I can't see him taking a backup spot, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. But anyway, so these are the moves the Panthers made today. Released David Moore, picked up Michael Jordan, announced the practice squad. Will Grier is out of town. He's in Dallas. Good luck to Will Grier. Anyway, so if you're still here, thanks for watching. We'll go ahead and end this video. If you want more Panthers news, content, conversation, we try to keep these coming to you. We try to do at least one weekly podcast with some good length to it, and then throw some videos together when news breaks. So if you're still here, go ahead and give us a subscribe, give us a like. Really helps out the channel, helps us grow. We appreciate any support, and keep pounding, guys. Take care.